Hi everyone. So it's been a while since I posted a video, so I thought I'd do a quick live. I've been thinking about resonance and how I can best help you to achieve the accent with resonance. Okay. So when we work on warm-up exercises, we do things like humming, chanting. That helps us to find the throat. And as you probably know, the British accent very much resonates in the throat area and in the cavities in the back of the mouth. So that's why actually the warm up is so very useful and really should be a big part of your practice. So maybe you're practicing all the time, maybe you're just kind of studying and reading and watching videos from time to time. But what I would recommend is one or two things you could do is these exercises. So if, for instance, you want to find the throat area and the resonance there, you can lower your bottom jaw and hum. Because essentially, if you've never resonated your voice in your throat, you're not going to know how to. So first of all, you need to find the space. And that's why we tend to do these kind of chanting and humming exercises. Another thing that's really important, which I really recommend, is starting to become aware of these muscles in the mouth. So for a British person, we might use them a tiny bit less than you're going to start with. But because you need to find them, you want to find them and then use them quite consciously. A good exercise here is to stifle a smile. See if you imagine you've seen something really funny and you're trying not to laugh, and that's kind of the sensation. Hi, Brian. And you're going to find these little muscles, actually more here. Another thing you can do to find muscles more in the lower jaw and the hinge part of the jaw is to do some exaggerated chewing and humming. Mm. Or you can just kind of lower your bottom jaw like this. Let's see if you can find the hinge part. If we take an example as a sound like I or A, when you pronounce these sounds, I, you need the support from the lower jaw and this hinge area in order to really create the nice sound and the resonance that you need in these cavities at the back of the mouth and the throat. Without the lower jaw, it's going to be I in the mouth, okay? And this is one of the biggest challenges for someone who's not British. It's taking your voice out of the mouth. So at the moment, your resonance is quite possibly too much in your mouth. So that means you're focusing too much on the lips, on the teeth, on the tip of the tongue. And as soon as you do that, what happens? I'm speaking at the front of the mouth like this. And that's no particular accent, obviously. It's a bit strange, actually. Now, I'm not trying to impersonate accents here. I just want to say that if you focus here, that's where your voice is going to be. Okay. So I want you to focus here. So back of the mouth. I call it the cave area if you've watched my videos, and throat area. And you can even focus on the hinge part of the lower jaw. It's very simple. Wherever your focus is, that is where your voice is going to resonate. Okay, so we're going to find this space first. So if you imagine that the back of the mouth is a cave and you're going to deepen it, so see if you can do that. You might find actually it's easier just to do a bit of a yawn to start with and really feel the back wall of the mouth and also the soft palate as well. So if you yawn, you'll definitely find that the soft palate, that little flexible part, lifts. And we need to utilize this area, and this area. So really right down here. Now, obviously, we have low resonating sounds that resonate more in the throat. And then we have most sounds, well, all sounds resonate here to some extent and here. But we have high resonating sounds, which also resonate up here. And it's quite easy to decide whether a sound is high resonating or not. We think about where the back of the tongue is. So if the back of the tongue is positioned high, like E, for instance, we know it's a high resonating sound. And also with the two diphthongs I mentioned earlier, I and A, the second part of those sounds, because obviously it's a sound that has two mouth positions. We transition from A position to I position for I. And the back of the tongue is going to lift up. So therefore the sound is going to travel up, okay? And that's why we need the support from this part here. So a really good thing to do when you're speaking is just to make sure that your muscles are alert. Another thing you can do that's really useful is to quite simply mean what you say. So when we mean what we say, our muscles are more alert here. As I say this, I'm just remembering that the other day I was teaching a group call and I was actually explaining to people how to emphasize words. So I perhaps take it for granted as a British speaker, the rhythm and melody of our speech is very much made up of emphasizing, so making some syllables or words stronger, and then weakening, so making some softer, so subordinating some syllables or words. So, like I said, I maybe take it for granted. So, I was actually explaining exactly what you need to do in order to emphasize a syllable. So, if you take a word like, let me just think of one, okay, performance, you're going to notice there's one syllable that is louder or stronger, and it is for performance, performance. And what do I do on my for syllable? I activate everything for. And to activate, I'm just literally using those muscles that I would use to stifle a smile for performance, performance. So there's almost a tiny little pause just after the for, where I support everything. It's a bit like making a fist, but I'm doing it with my muscles here. So lower jaw and cheek area. And also, if you think of we're holding back the air for a second, aren't we, anyway? So that's a really good opportunity to use these muscles. And that's why, even though the syllable is actually really the or sound, I use the F to kind of create that strength in the muscles. And that's why I would suggest that the syllable is really for and not just or. So performance, performance. And you can just practice by doing this. And then for, for. And therefore, you're going to know that you're actually emphasizing that syllable. So it's a bit of a kind of knack at getting used to creating that strength in the muscles. Sorry, just turning my phone on silent. You have to get used to doing it. And you have to notice as well when other people are doing it. So obviously, that's where things like watching TV series or listening to audiobooks really comes in. Also, look at the mouth position. Look what happens with the muscles here when a British person speaks. Obviously, if that's your goal to achieve a British accent, and really notice what are they doing or what can I see from their mouth position. You're probably going to notice if you look in a mirror when you're speaking that your lips probably come forwards more than mine if you don't have a British accent. And so that a starting point is to find this mouth position and just creating this position so it's kind of like Mona Lisa's half smile, I would say. If you can create that mouth position, you're actually probably going to be using these muscles a little bit anyway, because it's the smile position, isn't it? So come back to that. A really good exercise to help you to achieve both at the same time is to stifle a smile and hum. Mm. And you can do that for as long as you want. If you struggle to do it for a long time, it probably means you're not using these muscles enough. Okay, so, and also you're probably not quite back here. Um, Generally speaking, one of the ways in which we control airflow, so the flow of air out of the mouth, is to use these muscles here. This is how we control it. So we have something called aspirated consonants. So it's p, t, k, all of those where the air passes out of the mouth. And we really need to use these muscles here. Otherwise, we're going to run out of breath and our voice is going to sound a bit breathy. Okay, so that's another occasion when you can practice using them. Start to think about when you need to use the muscles, and just think about coming across as being more alert, more in control, and having a stronger voice. And then you're going to use these muscles. We kind of have to get into a state of mind, I think, to do these use these techniques. So if I consider when I use it most, so it would be an occasion like right now, if I want to speak clearly, if I really want people to hear what I'm saying, I'm going to become a bit more aware of this area. But generally speaking, like I said, I don't think about it when I'm speaking. It just comes naturally for me. So as I said at the beginning, you're going to have to make more of a conscious effort to start with. You have to really notice what you're doing with your muscles and where your voice is resonating. Another great tip is to audio record yourself and play it back and just see if you can hear a difference. You might notice that as a woman, my voice is quite low. And again, this is quite typical of British speakers because we use the throat area. So another very good thing to do is low chanting of words. So you can consider something that you want to say. So maybe I'll just use the word low, I think. Low. And you can low chant it. Obviously, you probably want to be at home when you do this so that you don't embarrass yourself. You might want to be in a kind of a quiet space where you're not going to be disturbed. Um, but that's just for the noisy ones. There are exercises you can do at any point in the day. And I really believe that if you want to achieve a British accent, it is possible. You just need to practice really consistently. So little and often to remind yourself where the sound needs to resonate. Just reset. Okay, my voice is here right now. Oh, I have to remember it needs to be back here. So create that space. That's a silent one you can do. And you can do all of them silently, actually. You can imagine that your voice is there. You can imagine you're doing it. Or and just feel the space expanding. So this might not feel that easy for you right now. What I would suggest is going back to my warm-up videos. If you just look in the search bar and type in warm up on my page, then you're on my channel, then it should come up with a whole load of options for warm-up exercises. And if you struggle or can't find it, then please do just message me. And I would suggest starting by practicing with a video, and then you can start going off and using the ones that seem easiest for you. Like, for instance, I mentioned stifling a smile. And that's something you do a little bit when you're speaking all the time. So imagine you're about to make a phone call, you get your phone out, you just create that habit of stifling a smile a bit to bind the muscles here. You have to find them, like I said, before you can use them. So before I go, that's a lot of information. Do you have any questions? I know I've kind of put you on the spot here because you didn't expect this live. I just suddenly came along and started doing it in the middle of my busy day. Any questions at all? Maybe you won't have a question right now, but maybe you will later. And if you do, please do just post it in the comments and I'll come back and answer your question. So perhaps you'll need to practice some of this stuff first or have a little look around my channel. Who here has been a follower of my channel for a while? I think I recognize Brian, actually. I think you might have posted on my videos before. Who else? Anyone else? I know there aren't many of you watching right now, so don't feel under pressure to answer. But if there's anything you want to help with, please do post a message. I'm always looking for inspiration in terms of creating video content. Like I said, I have very limited time. So if someone says, can you make a video on this? It's like, great, thank you. And I'll quickly do a video and obviously post it. So think about any challenges you're having, anything you don't understand, something perhaps you've watched a video on you'd like more help with. Have a little browse around thank you, Fernando. Have a little browse around my channel and see what inspires you. Thank you so much for watching at the last minute today. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. I'll try and post more videos that I've kind of prepared and edited and everything for you, obviously based upon any feedback I get. So please do let me know what you want help with. Okay, take care, everyone. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.